going to talk about poetry today. So we're going to do the second story in for lesson 10. So we need to go over some vocabulary words. So when we're talking about poetry, where structure is the way a poem is organized. So we've talked a lot about when you write essays or paragraphs, okay, how to organize those things. Okay, so normally you have your topic sentence, and then you have supporting details and examples, and then you have your conclusion, right? So poetry also has structure or a way that it's organized, but it's very different from essays that we've talked about or paragraphs that we've talked about. So we're going to see how poems are organized in the examples. We also have verses or stanzas. So these are multi-line sections of a poem or a song. Okay, so poems aren't written in sentences like paragraphs and essays are. They're written in lines. Okay, so a sentence can be one line, or a sentence can also be 2 lines or 3 lines or 4 lines. So we break poems up in lines rather than sentences. And a verse or a stanza is a group of lines that make up a poem. So we're also going to see that in our examples. And then rhythm. So rhythm is a regular pattern of sound in poetry or music. So you know how poetry can sound a little bit like music. So that is the rhythm, right? A pattern of sound. So on pages 304 and 305, we're going to read some different poems. So James, can you tell us about poetry? What is poetry?
Poetry is
Do you see it under the genre part?
poetry or arranging use sound and rhythm of words to suggest image and express feelings.
Okay, so poetry uses the sound and rhythm of words to suggest images and express feelings. So poetry is supposed to make you feel something, okay? It's supposed to bring out different feelings. And who can read to us about the structure of a poem? Minnie, can you read to us about the structure of the poem?
Structure of a poem. Poems are arranged in lines. The lines are often grouped into verses or stanzas. Which poems has verses? Rhythm, the regular pattern of stress and words, is part of the sound and tone of poems. And as you read, note how the rhythm is different in each poem. How does the rhythm affect each poem?
Thank you, Minnie. So, part of rhythm, sometimes poems rhyme. But let me ask, true or false? A poem always has to rhyme. What do you think, Tutmang? True or false? A poem always has to rhyme.
It is false.
That is false. Sometimes poems rhyme, but they do not have to rhyme. Okay, so let's take a look at our poems. So this is called Dance to the Beat by Adam Fogelberg. Dancers move their bodies to the beat or rhythm of music. Poems are like music and dance. They too have rhythm. As you read the following 3 poems about dancing, listen for their rhythm. So I'm going to read the first one, and I want you to notice the rhythm of this poem, and we'll look at the different verses and the other structure after. The Song of the Night. I dance to the tune of the stars and the moon. I dance to the song of the night. I dance to the strains of a cricket's refrain. I dance to the firefly's light. I dance to the breeze and the whispering trees. I dance to the meteor's flight. I dance to the beat of the summertime heat. I Dance to the Pulse of the Night by Leslie D. Perkins. So what do we think about this poem? Who likes it? We like it? Medium or dislike? Hen says medium, Twitming, and I say medium.
Medium.
I think medium. Okay, that's fine. We don't have to like everything that we read, but if you don't like it, you still need to give me a reason for why you don't like it. Okay, so let's see. How many verses or stanzas do we have in this poem? Who can tell me? Richard?
Yes.
How many verses or stanzas do we have in this poem?
I can see properly.
Okay, I'm gonna actually, I have it bigger over here. Is that better?
What is the question?
I'm asking. So how many verses or stanzas does this poem have? Remember, a verse is a group of lines. So how many groups of lines do we have in this paragraph?
4.
4. Okay. Can you read the first one for us, please?
I dance to the tune of the stars and the moon. I dance to the song of the night.
All right, good job. Thank you, Richard. So in this first verse, how many lines do we have? Let's see, how many lines are there?
3 lines.
There are 3 lines. And how many sentences do you see, though?
2.
2, right? Yep. So do we see the difference between lines and sentences in poetry? So just because a line ends doesn't mean a sentence has ended. Okay, so in our first verse, what do we notice about some of the words at the end of each line? Prilam, what do you notice about words at the end of each of the lines in the first verse?
There are 2 sentences.
Okay, so we know there's 2 sentences, but let's look at the words at the end of each line. So we have tune, moon, and night. Are there any words that rhyme at the end of this poem? Or sorry, at the end of these lines?
No.
No?
I think it is tune and moon.
Okay, so tune and moon rhyme. So when you're, thank you, Lily, when you were reading it, those rhyming words make it sound, it gives it a rhythm or a beat, right? I dance to the tune of the stars and the moon. I dance to the song of the night. Okay, good job. Let's look at verse number 2. Maggie, can you read verse 2 for us, please?
I dance to the strings of a cricket's refrain. I dance to the firefly's light.
All right, good job. So does anyone see any rhyming words in this verse? Which 2 words rhyme in this verse? Jon Snow?
Rhyme?
Yeah, which 2 words rhyme in this verse?
Un.
In verse number 2, I dance to the strains of a cricket's refrain. I dance to the firefly's light. So there's 2 words that almost rhyme in this one.
Strains and refrain.
Yep, good job. So we have strains and refrain. Okay. And let's look at verse number 3. Dino, can you read verse number 3 for us, please?
I dance to the breeze and the whispering trees. I dance to the meteor's flight.
Okay, good job. And in this verse, Pizza, which 2 words rhyme in this verse? Can you read the whole verse for us, please?
The whole poem.
The 4th verse, the last 3 lines of this poem.
I dance to of the summertime heat. I dance to the pulse of the night.
Okay, thank you, P. and sky. Which two words rhyme in this verse? Heat and heat. So, do we all see that this poem follows the same structure, right? The first two lines rhyme for every verse. So that is the structure or organization. What about the third line in each verse? Kung Tao, what can we say about the third line in each verse? Kung Tao,
Oh, yes.
what do you notice about the third line in each verse? I dance to the song of the night. I dance to the firefly's light. I dance to the meteor's flight. I dance to the pulse of the night. What do you notice about those four lines? Do you hear anything special about all of those lines? Do you hear something that's similar about all of these lines?
Yes.
What? Tell me.
It rhymes with each other.
So the last word in each of those lines are rhyming with each other. So that is another part of our structure. Okay, thank you, Kung Tao. And let's see, what else do we notice? B, what else do you notice that's similar about all four of those lines? Do you see any words that are the same in all of those lines?
Let me. Night. A night.
Okay, so we know that night, light, flight, and night are rhyming words. What else in those lines is the same? What about this part? I dance to. The last line in each verse starts out the same way. So that is another example of the structure of this poem. What message do you think the author or the poet is trying to get across? What is the poet trying to say to us? Sarah, what do you think? What's the poet trying to say to us? We're trying to teach us.
Yeah.
So when the poet is describing things to dance to, is the poet listening to music?
No.
Do they have YouTube on and they're playing a song on YouTube and dancing to that?
No.
What are they dancing to?
To nature.
Yep. So the song of the night is the author or the poet is telling us that nature has its own sound, right? The sound of the stars and the moon, the sound of the crickets, the sound of the fireflies, the sound of the breeze and the trees and the meteors, right? So nature has its own sound, its own song, okay? All right, so let's go back and do from lines written for Gene Kelly to dance to. I'm gonna make it a bit bigger so we can see. Okay, so who can read the first part for us? Tuelam, can you read the first verse of this poem?
Can you dance a question mark? Can you dance an exclamation point? Can you dance a couples of commas? And bring it to a finishing with a period.
All right, good job. And who can read the second verse for us? Boo, read the second one for us, please.
Gene Kelly was a famous actor, dancer, and director. He was born in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Wait, boo, stop. I'm not asking you to read the second thing. I'm asking you to read the second verse of the poem.
Can you dance like the wind is pushing you? Can you dance like you are pushing the wind? Can you dance with slow wooden heels and then chained to a bright singing silver heels? Such a nice feet, such as good feet. No, I can't.
No, I can't. You can't. You
No,
can't.
I can't do it.
Okay. Thank you, Boo. All right. So, can you dance a question mark? Can you dance an exclamation point? Can you dance a couple of commas and bring it to a finish with a period? Can you dance like the wind is pushing you? Can you dance like you are pushing the wind? Can you dance with slow wooden heels and then change to bright and singing silver heels? Such nice feet, such good feet. Okay, what do we think about this poem?
More.
Like it more? Okay, what is it that you like about this poem?
That it gives us information
About what?
about Jane Kelly.
About Gene Kelly in the poem?
The poem tell us the question mark, exclamation point, commas, and a period. Dance.
Okay, what about dance?
Can you dance?
Okay, so do you think the poet's asking if you can make your body into a question mark or
No.
into an exclamation point?
No.
So what is the poet trying to say to us instead? Can you dance in what?
Can you dance in a question mark?
Okay, but let's look at, we have different ways of dancing, right? Question mark, exclamation point, commas, period. Do you think those different dances would have the same feelings or different feelings?
Different.
Right, so I think the poet is trying to ask, can you dance in different ways to express yourself? Right? Are you able to express yourself through dance, through how you feel? Okay, thank you, Pizza. All right, let's read about Gene Kelly. So Gene Kelly was born in 1912 and died in 1996. Kent, can you read about Gene Kelly? Why don't you read the first paragraph for us, please? Just 2 paragraphs, Jon Snow.
In 1938, he crossed the Pennsylvania border and headed to New York City. That year, he made his Broadway debut. During his career, Kelly enjoyed one dream after another. He starred and danced in many movies.
All right, thank you, Jon Snow. So let's compare and contrast these 2 texts. So Richard, what is different about these 2 texts? How are these 2 texts different? What genre would you say this first one is?
One is from Jen Kelly and one is from the lines written to Jen Kelly to dance to.
Okay, so what genre would you say this first one is? Is it informational text? Is it humorous fiction? What genre is it?
It is how Jen Kelly dance.
Okay, but what genre are we talking about now? You remember from this page? What's our genre here?
Poetry.
Right. So this first one is a poem. And what about the second one? What kind of text?
Me, no.
Shimai, are you there?
Me here.
Can you tell me the genre of the second text, please? Now, what is our genre for the second one?
It is a biology.
Biography, exactly. So our second one is a biography. The first one is a poem, and the second one is a biography. It tells about a person's life. Okay? It tells about Gene Kelly's life. And what else is different? So we know in our first one, we have poems have stanzas or verses. And what about in our second one? Do you know? Instead of verses, what do biographies use?
Biography use part.
Use what?
I don't remember.
What are these called? The groups of sentences. What are groups of sentences called? There's 3 of them in this text. Do you know? Do you remember?
No.
Tell me, Hen.
Paragraph.
Paragraphs, right? So whereas poems use verses, biographies use paragraphs. Okay. All right. So we have one more poem to read. So who can read this one for us? Mitzi, can you read this one, please?
Dance with me, dance with me. We are the song, we are the music. Dance with me, dance with me, dance with me. All night long, we are the music, we are the song.
All right, thank you, Mitzi. So, the Mit A, what do you think the poet is trying to get across to you? What message does the poet want you to get from this?
Dancing.
What about dancing? Dancing is terrible and awful and no one should ever do it?
Good.
Good?
Yes.
Okay. Bill, what do you think? What does the poet want us to learn from this poem?
Dance.
Say again?
They want us to dance.
Okay, I think the poet wants us to dance. Okay, thank you, Bill. So maybe the music is, so where is the music from this poem? Lily, where is the music?
Wait.
Say again?
No.
The music is?
I think in here the music is the beat in the poem.
Mhm. Okay. And from this poem, though, what music are we supposed to dance to? Is this poet saying you have to open up YouTube and play a song?
No, they say we are the song, we are the music.
All right, so the music is inside of us, right? All right, thank you, Lily. All right, so let's think, which of those poems makes you think of Jose Limon? Out of all 3 of those poems that we just read, which one makes you think of Jose Limon? James? If you had to choose one poem that reminded you of Jose Limon, which one would you choose?
The Song of the Night.
And why do you think that one? Why is that? What in this poem makes you think of Jose Limon?
Dance to the breeze and dance to the strings.
Yeah, and how did Jose Limon feel about music and dancing? Did he feel opinion about it, or did he feel very passionate about it?
Great.
Right. So, okay. So, good job. You could say that this poem expresses Jose Limon's passion for music. Okay. Ming Chao, which poem would you choose?
Say the question again.
Yes. Can you tell me, of all 3 of these poems that we just read, The Song of the Night, From Lines Written for Gene Kelly to Dance to, and 3/4 Time, which poem makes you think of Jose Limon?
Can I look up the 3 poems again?
Mm-hmm. Tell me when you're ready for the next one.
Ready.
Which one reminds you of Jose Limon?
I think it is this poem.
This one. And what about this poem makes you think of Jose?
And
Can you tell me a line that might remind you of Jose and what we learned about him?
wake me up.
Okay, well, you think about it. Does anyone else have any ideas for us? What do you think, Twitming?
My internet is a little bit slow. Could you repeat the question again?
Yes. Out of the 3 poems that we just read, which one of them reminds you of Jose Limon?
Paragraph 4.
The 4th verse. Okay. And what about that reminds you of Jose Limon?
It's just Jose Limon is dancing in front of the audience, and he sweat a lot.
So it's hot. He gets hot when he dances. Okay, thank you, Twitming. All right. So for homework today, actually, we'll do that if we have time. Okay, so for homework today, I saw that you guys had turned in your Google Forms responses, right? But not everyone answered the questions completely. Remember, I asked you to write a full paragraph using details and examples from the text, right? And I have a lot of responses that are only 1 sentence. So I want you for homework today to redo these responses. Okay, so go back and check your response and then write one that uses details and examples from the book or from the text. So let's look at a couple of examples of ones that we can fix. So we have this first one here. Jose feels very surprised and admired about dancing. According to the text, the dance lit a fire in Jose's soul. In the story, Jose, born to dance, he also said, I do not want to remain on this earth unless I can learn to do what this man is doing. So in this one, say P. Does this one use examples from the text?
Yes.
Yes. So what's one of the examples from the text here?
He said that he said, I do not want to remain on this earth unless I can learn to do what this man is doing.
Okay, good job. So this is an excellent example of using details from the story. Okay, thank you, P. And Elsa, is there another detail or example from the story in this answer?
Jose feels very surprised and admired about dancing.
Okay, so that's the answer to the question, but I want the details from the story. So P just gave us the quotation, I do not want to remain on this earth unless I can learn to do what this man is doing. So that's one example. What's another detail? What did the dance do to Jose?
The dance lit a fire in Jose's soul.
Okay, so we use our according to the text sentence starter, and the dance lit a fire in Jose's soul. So this is how you use details from the story in your responses. Okay, we just need to fix two things. A dance lighting a fire in someone's soul. What word could we use to describe that feeling? Who knows the word to describe this feeling? Ciro, do you know one? If something lights a fire in your soul, can you tell me what kind of feeling that is?
You admiring it, like what, like in the response.
Okay, so admired is a verb.
Verb.
So we don't want to use a verb as a feeling, right? So I'm going to take that one away. If you like,
And what, or what should I say?
if something lights a fire in your soul, do you know a feeling word to describe that? When something lights a fire in your soul and you want to do something more than anything else in the world, how might you feel about that?
Determined to do something.
Determined. Okay, very good. Okay, so well, did Jose really feel surprised about dancing? Okay, so we're gonna say this feeling I think we're looking for is passionate. Jose feels very passionate about dancing, right? So when you're passionate about something, that means that you love it more than you love anything else in the whole world. You don't want to do anything except for that one thing. So Jose only wants to dance, right? He doesn't want to remain on earth unless he can dance. It lit a fire in his soul. So that's what we can change this to. Jose feels passionate about dancing. And then we have our reasons and details from the text. So for homework, you're just going to redo your responses and make sure you're using 2 examples from the text. Does anyone have any questions about what we talked about today? Let me unmute so I can hear everyone. What do you think? Any questions?
No.
Let's do quizzes. I will send it home for homework.
Now it is 2:47. Be quiet.
So if you don't want to do live quizzes, then you can exit the meeting. If you do, then